Hello all, this is David from Sunward Hobbies, here to review a kit that's not that new, but I felt like showcasing it today. It is Tamiya's 1/48 scale Mitsubishi G4M1 Model 11, affectionately known as Betty by the Americans. And this one in particular was the plane that was transporting Admiral Yamamoto when he was shot down and killed by a squadron of P-38 Lightnings. So this particular kit includes 17 figures, a few pilots, some mechanics, a ground crew, and the Admiral himself. The G4M was Japan's flagship bomber throughout the Pacific War. As you can see, it was kind of shaped like a cigar. Anyway, let's take a look inside now. So we've got a few sprues here. These first two are the ground crew, all waving. I'll be honest, these figures, by today's standards, don't look great. They're serviceable, but yeah, for Tamiya's modern day quality, it could definitely be better. Yeah, this is pretty much the exact same. The kit also advertises that it comes with pre-painted canopies. It is just an option, but as you see, they already come in green. This looks like normal clear parts. So if you didn't feel like masking, there you go. I personally still prefer to do that, so I would use the normal clear parts that are included. The sprue here would be, I believe, the navigator. Comes with a tiny pair of binoculars, and Admiral Yamamoto. Now his face looks pretty good here. Likeness is pretty accurate. This is of course the last time anyone saw him, on April 18th, 1943. Which was just over 80 years ago. Net sprue would be 1/2 of the wings, as well as the elevators. Wheel well detail is just some framing, and sadly some noticeable sink marks, and they're in pretty awkward spaces, so have fun trying to get rid of those. Got some bulkheads here as well. here, 2 sprues in this particular bag. The bottom half of the wings, as well as some more bulkheads and the flight deck floor, as well as the instrument panel. This particular kit, I believe, was released in the late 90s, and this tooling was around the early 2000s. So the quality was still very, very good. The bomb/torpedo bay has some positive rivets in there, as well as hydraulic wires and such. So that's pretty nice. And the other sprue has the bomb bay doors in the closed position, as well as some pilots, the tail wheel. This, I believe, is the main flight deck, and some throttles, control levers, seats, machine guns, these pilots actually look a little better than the flight crew from earlier. I believe these 2 sprues are the exact same, so I'll just cover one of them, which features the engine nacelle, the radial engine itself, the propeller, the cowling flaps, the crankshaft, these would be the wheel well doors, the main landing gear, and half of the torpedo, plus as another option, a full set of bombs, and they're all in halves. This one's pretty self-explanatory. The fuselage halves, the rudder, and the landing gear housing, which connects to the engine nacelles. And it is a very thick plane. Oh, and I forgot to mention all the details, all the panel lines, they are recessed because Tamiya has standards. And the last sprue here, the clear parts, which are, aside from the windows, these ones here are exactly the same as what I showed earlier, just not painted. You've got parts for the main canopy, turrets for the front and tail. And yeah, they look pretty nice. And one last addition, the trademark Tamiya poly caps, so that you can make your propellers spinnable. And our decal sheet. This one's pretty basic. You could use these Hinomura decals, but honestly, these would probably be the easiest thing to paint yourself. So, what's your excuse? Yeah, on top of that, the instrument panel decals, some squadron insignias, and that's it. I'm kind of surprised how few decals there are for a model this size. And some useless information. Just a little page showing you what paints to use for the ground crew. Tamiya, of course, calls out their own paint brand. More useless information. And the newer Tamiya models feature these, a quick read, a booklet giving you a brief bio of the aircraft. This, of course, features the story of Yamamoto's death. And just a little map here showing you what some of the parts are named. And this would be the instruction booklet. This must be additional information that they didn't include in the main booklet. Basically just what paints the pilots will need, and some minor additions, I guess, that weren't featured in the original kit's release. So again, short bio of the aircraft. Step 1 starts in the cockpit. Add in your instrument panel, your seats, your pilots. Then it moves on to the whole flight deck. Then you start adding your bulkheads and the side machine guns, plus some windows. Then you add everything to one side of the fuselage and seal them up together. And you start adding the canopies, also the clear parts for the front and tail turrets. Then the wings go together, followed by the engine nacelles and the landing flaps, which they give you the option to position up or down. Next is the engines and the landing gear, and then that all goes together. Horizontal stabilizers, Then you attach the wings to the fuselage, as well as elevators and the rudder. And then you choose whether you want to use the one Type 91 torpedo or a rack of bombs. Place them in the bomb bay. And lastly, attaching the propellers. And that's all. The kit looks not quite as detailed and complex as I might have thought, but still it's a Tamiya kit. It's going to go together beautifully, and I always love when they include pilots and ground crew. It adds a little more realism and fun to the project. So yeah, a pretty good addition to their catalog. I would recommend it. So you can pick one up for yourself today at Sunward Hobbies, in-store or online. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and until the next one, adios.